to me, a waste of time.
Instead, they're sending that home for us to do when
Yeah.
they should be doing the sex ed
Correct.
at home.
Exactly.
That's right.
8 hours when they should be teaching and doing their job, right? And I love the teachers out there, but remember the teachers' hands are tied as well because they have to get through a lot of requirements like this. What would be different in your life? Okay, Sex Etc. is another website, and this one is very, putting out, there's always anti-Christian stuff, there's once again, slanted, right? I think it's every parent out there, regardless if you're Christian, regardless what your faith is, I think the constant bashing of Christianity really needs to stop. And this is another website that is openly doing that. And, sexetc.org. PlannedParenthood.org/teens, like I said, is its own little site, and these are some of the things that it lists there, just very explicit stuff. It's like borderline pornography at this point. And the last one, it's almost like all of this language is promoting anal sex because they're like, well, look at it, it's great, you can't get pregnant. But what they don't talk about is the risk and the things that could happen with that. So just keep that in mind. And then, this is another one that's crazy. This one is being put into the suggested and recommended reading. Basically, trying to normalize things, but you can see it's explicit and distracting.
For what grades are they training?
This is, remember, 7th to 12th, but also it's optional because you can always bring this in younger if you'd like.
This is elementary right here.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
that's
elementary.
elementary.
These almost are elementary.
Wow, okay. Thank you for that correction. So even worse than I thought. And just remember that schools are exempt from obscenity laws, okay? And that is a very important point to remember. And that's an age-old law. But as you know, it has ramifications on our kids and our society. A lot of, I was at a Capitol School Board meeting, and there was a girl that came up who really kind of just broke my heart. She's in 8th grade, and she said all of this stuff that's being put into schools is creating a hostile environment for me. She needs a safe space, right? Come on. All this talk, the boys get wound up, and they're pressuring her to have sex in 8th grade, and she's like, no, it's hard for me to even go to school now. That's terrible. And this image is powerful because a lot, teachers in the schools have a lot of leeway to be talking about these things. And then also, this whole, when you were shocked by it with a trusted adult, I mean, this is what they're pushing at this point. They want to take the power away from the parents. So what are the solutions? The solutions is obviously talk to your teacher. For me, the stuff with the sit-outs, that's great. If you want to be an activist, that's a very great way to, exercise that. But a lot of us, we can't afford to do that. And I also want to stress that if you have 3 unexcused absences, you will be considered truant. Okay, that's a very important fact. If you do the sit out, and yes, you want to hurt them in the pocketbook, but don't hurt yourself in the process, okay? Because CPS can come knocking on your door if there's 3 unexcused absences. Just keep that in mind, okay? I think the most important thing, obviously we're in a one-party state here, and so we have to take that power back in the grassroots. And one of the things that we have, it has to start at home, right? Talking to your teacher and keeping up on things can do a lot because there's still a lot of leeway. A teacher can choose to de-emphasize certain, lesson plans that they have and emphasize others. So being involved is very important. Second, review the curriculum. Okay, every school, remember I showed you 6 different curricula? Find out what your school district has adopted. And really know what's in there, and then talk to your kids about it, and have an open conversation. Obviously, the opt-out form, I recommended using the one on pji.org. Okay, so once again, pji.org, and you can download that form and then hand it over to your school to opt them out of CSE and HIV prevention. Remember, you cannot opt out of gender identity.
That's the one I want.
Yeah. And finally, talk to your children, okay? And I'm gonna bring up a good friend of mine, Analia Anderson. She is the type of mom that does it right. Okay? And she has a 6th grade daughter who she was in, but she probably got bored.
Oh, no, he'll
back.
bring her in.
Yeah, and the two of them are just gonna talk about kind of practical ways to fight this, and especially in a place where, as far as the legislation, you know, I encourage everyone to go to the voting booth. Is everyone here registered to vote?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Is anyone here not registered to vote? Please register if there's anything.
Not yet.
Okay, well, I'll talk to you after, but everyone needs to get registered to vote and to, you know, display your dissatisfaction in the ballot box, because that is the only way we can get things to change, okay? So Analia, I'm gonna bring you up. Thank you for listening, and if you have any, does anyone have any questions before I move forward?
Do you know if this type of, because what they're teaching now is beyond science, is no longer anatomy. They're teaching now ideology, value stuff. Okay, do you know if, has this stuff ever been challenged in court? If not, do you think it will? Is there any organizations out there that's gonna maybe try to fight it in court?
That's a very, very good question. So I'm working with Pacific Justice Institute, which takes on a lot of cases to protect religious freedoms and parental rights. And PJI is on the forefront of, you know, tackling this issue. There are some practical realities, though, that we must know. We fall under the 9th Circuit courts here, and the 9th Circuit courts are very, very liberal. So tactically, we need to be very smart about which battles to fight. So we are keeping our eyes open and really watching on a day-to-day what's going on, from the activists on the ground to, you know, to all of the, you know, things that are going on with the legislators, to find a way to bring something up, you know, up the ranks to really shoot this down. And guys, have faith on this, okay? Because we had a very big victory with what was originally Friedrichs versus California Teachers Association. And that case rose all the way up to Supreme Court, but got locked when Judge Scalia passed away. And it was on a 4-4. But now, there was a Janus case that came up, which is very similar, and that rose up, and that ruled in our favor 5-4. So always have faith. Stuff takes a while. And I firmly believe that in about 5 years or so, we'll make a lot of progress on this issue. But I need everyone in here to fight, and also to inform, and to educate not only, you know, your immediate circle, but try to get out of that and tell more people about this. I gave you a lot of facts today. If you forget any of them, I'm gonna give you guys all my email. You can, you know, ask a question. If it takes you 3-4 times to remember, it's a lot of stuff. Some of it's legal, it's very technical. Someone like America has spent so much time, you know, researching and learning. It does take a while, but we can all be informed and go out and inform other people. That's very important. Any other questions? Great. All right. Analia, please.